Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. And before we get into it, AC Green today, who we will be talking about later on. But before we talk about AC, we're going to talk about AD, Adrian Dantley. Okay, so Adrian Dantley went to Notre Dame. Was a pretty good college player. He was drafted by the then Buffalo Braves in '76. And so he was coming to a team that had already had Randy Smith and Bob McAdoo there. But on December 9th, they sent Bob McAdoo to the Knicks. And so it was just Randy Smith and Adrian Dantley. He also had a player by the name of Ernie D. Gregorio. Can't pronounce his last name. Ernie D. Gregorio. I probably butchered his name, but Dantley won Rookie of the Year, 76-77. But the Braves went from 46-36 in 1976 to 30-52 for the 1977 season. Okay, so before the start of the 78 season, he was traded to Indiana. Adrian Dantley was traded to Indiana for Billy Knight. Okay, and I believe the Braves were 10-14 at that time. The Braves were 10-14 at that time, and played the season for Indiana. Then he was traded to the Lakers for James Edwards. Okay. He was traded to the Lakers in 78-79 for James Edwards. Okay. So he was three teams. So he was 3 years into his career, and he had already played for three teams. Okay. His first playoff appearance was 1979 with the Lakers. He averaged 17 points per game in the playoffs. For 1978-79, the Lakers were 37-23 without Dantley. Let me make a correction. He was traded mid-season in 77-78 to the Lakers for James Edwards. Okay. So he spent part of the 77-78 season with the Pacers and the Lakers. Spent all of 79 with the Lakers. Like I said, they were 37-23 with AD. They were 10-12 without AD. He averaged 17 points a game in the playoffs. But they lost to Seattle in the second round. Okay. So 1980 comes about. The Lakers draft Magic. And the Lakers trade him to the Utah Jazz. Okay, for the 1980 season. So he's been in the league 77, 78, 79, 80. And he's already played for 4 teams. Yeesh. But he had a reputation as selfish. Had a reputation as one-dimensional, hard to get along with, which is going to come up a little bit later, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. Okay, but he was traded to the Jazz for the 79-80 season for Spencer Haywood, and Pete Maravich was near the end of his career, and the Jazz also traded for Bernard King, who only played in 19 games because of drug use. And so he was sent to rehab. But Dantley averaged 28 points per game. But the Jazz were terrible. They didn't make the playoffs. I believe they finished 26-56 that year. And they traded Bernard King to the Golden State Warriors. And Bernard King actually won Comeback Player of the Year for 1980-81 in Golden State. And so 1980-81, the Jazz had Daryl Griffith and Ricky Green. Adrian Dantley was an all-star again. But the Jazz were pretty much terrible in 1980, 81, 82, and 83. Okay. They were just terrible, to say the least. But in 1984, they made a turnaround. Adrian Dantley averaged 30 points per game. He averaged 30 a game. And the Jazz made the 84 playoffs. And they defeated Denver in the first round. And they went up against the Phoenix Suns in the second round. But the Suns took that series in 6 games. And in the 84 draft, which is littered with Hall of Famers, you had Olajuwon, you had Barkley, of course you had MJ. Then you got John Stockton, who went later in the first round. But John Stockton didn't start right away. He was a backup to Ricky Green. So Stockton began his career backing up Ricky Green. But Dantley was still pretty good, averaging 26 points per game in 1985. And then along came Karl Malone in the 85 draft, which pretty much signaled the end of Dantley's time in Utah. But for the 85-86 season, Malone was there, Dantley was there. Daryl Griffith missed the entire year with an injury. They only finished 42-40. And Adrian Dantley had back spasms towards the end of the year. And Frank Layden, who had took over as Jazz head coach earlier in the decade, he criticized Adrian Dantley's back injury, going so much far as to say he thought Adrian Dantley's was faking his back injury, okay? And he openly said that to the press. Adrian Dantley didn't like it. AD asked for a trade. So they ship him to the Pistons for Kelly Tripucka, okay? And that's the beginning of Malone and Stockton. I believe Stockton didn't take over until 1988. So I believe he was still backing up Ricky Green. So Malone Stockton really wasn't a thing yet. It would be, but not for another year or two. But he got traded to the Pistons for Kelly Tripucka. Averaged 21 points per game in 87. They finished 52-30. Lost to the Celtics in 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. 1988, the Pistons get over the hump. They defeat the Celtics. And Adrian Dantley averages 20.5 points per game in the 88 season. The Pistons lost a memorable 7-game series to the Lakers in the NBA Finals. We all know Isaiah scored 25 third-quarter points. Finished the game with 43 points in all. So 1989 comes about, and Dantley is averaging 18.5 points per game, okay? And if you watch that Pistons documentary, it was well known that Adrian Dantley didn't like the fact that he wasn't on the floor at the end of games, okay? Dennis Rodman was taking his minutes, and Chuck Daly wanted Rodman on the floor because Rodman would lock you down defensively. Rodman could lock you down and would lock you down defensively. And Adrian Dantley didn't like that. And so they were playing a game in Boston. And Isaiah Thomas tells his story. Isaiah said they were playing a game in Boston. And Chuck tried to take AD out of the game. And Adrian Dantley would not come out of the game. And Dennis Rodman had to come out of the game. And after that, Daly and Dantley met behind closed doors, and there was a shouting match. There was a lot of shouting behind closed doors. The players and the coaches could hear it. And on February 16th, he got traded to Dallas for Mark Aguirre. And there were rumors that Isaiah got Adrian Dantley traded, which I really don't buy. And Adrian Dantley said Isaiah Thomas went to management and told the Pistons management to trade AD. That's something Isaiah denies. That's something that Jack Klahowski, the then general manager of the Pistons, denies. I don't believe that. I don't believe Isaiah went into management and said, "Hey, get rid of Adrian Dantley. I don't want him on my team." That's something that I don't buy. But it was rumored because Mark Aguirre was Isaiah Thomas's best friend growing up. He grew up with his Thomas in Chicago. So, before the trade, there was a meeting that was taking place, and Isaiah was getting on to everybody saying about what they were doing, what they weren't doing. And Adrian Dantley said, and watch that Pistons documentary. Adrian Dantley said, "Oh, what about you? What you are doing?" And it was reported that Adrian wanted it to be his team, and it was never going to be Adrian Dantley's team because Isaiah Thomas was there way before AD got there. So he got traded to Dallas. He initially did not report to Dallas, but he eventually showed up, and his scoring average went from 18.5 to 20 points after the trade to Dallas. And so 1990, he was playing the lowest minutes of his career. And he was playing about 30 minutes a game, and he averaged a little over 14 and a half points. But he broke his leg, broke his fibula. Midway through the season, I believe, he broke his fibula and didn't play in the playoffs. The Mavericks actually played better with him out. And they finished 47-35, made the playoffs, got swept by Portland. And he didn't have a team for 1990-91, so he played overseas. Then Dale Ellis got injured for the Milwaukee Bucks. Dale Ellis got injured, and the Bucks signed Dantley. He actually scored 16 points off the bench for the Bucks in a bench role. So scored 16 points against the Bullets in the bench role, but he never really saw real playing time in the playoffs. He only scored 5 points in total as the Bucks were swept by the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round. And then they played overseas again in 92, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. So let's pivot over to the other 45 AC, as in AC green. Y'all all know AC. Iron Man played in like 100 million straight games. He's a 3-time NBA champion, NBA All-Star 1990, 1988-89 All Defensive Team, and AC played in 82 games as a rookie, and the story goes in his second season, he injured his thumb. Okay, had thumb surgery, missed 3 games, which he played in 79 games overall. His second season, he had thumb surgery, missed 3 games, and came back. And from that, so just think about it. This man played in every game from the time Reagan was president on up to the time George Bush was president. Okay, in 2001. Okay, this man played in consecutive games: Reagan, Bush, Clinton, and Bush. That is some insane longevity, especially playing 82 games every single year. 82 games every single year. If that ain't impressive, I don't know what is. Okay, and AC Green is a devout man of faith. He's a Christian, so I have no doubt in my mind that there was a strong faith that AC had, that kept him going all those years. Okay, so his career highs came in 1994 when he was with Phoenix. 35 points and 14 rebounds versus Sacramento. He had a career high 20 rebounds against the Clippers in 1996. And he played pretty well when he was in the playoffs, both with the Lakers and the Suns. You may recall in the 5-game series against the Suns in 1993, when Phoenix played the Lakers in the first round, he had 73 rebounds in the 5 games. Okay, in that series against the Suns. In game 1, hold on, yeah, let me see that. Okay, yeah. In game 1, he had 9 rebounds. Game 2, he upped it to 13. Game 3, he upped it again. He had 14 points and 17 rebounds. He had 15 rebounds in game 4. Then he played his best game in game 5, which the Lakers lost in overtime. He had 19 points and 15 rebounds that game. So, AC was pulling them rebounds, pulling down them rebounds like he was Cookie Monster. So, he signs with Phoenix as a free agent for 1994. The Lakers wanted to re-sign him, but he ended up signing with Phoenix instead. So he averaged nearly 15 points a game. So that was his career high scoring in Phoenix. His first year in Phoenix, 1994. Averaged about 15 points a game. And again, he averaged about 11.2 points per game in 1995. And played well against Portland in the first round as the Suns swept the Trailblazers in 1995, first round. And he had an excellent series against the Houston Rockets, the 7-game series that the Suns lost. Kiss of death, Mario Elie. So in game 1 of the Houston series, he had 25 points and 15 rebounds in game 1. 14 rebounds. Wait. He had a playoff career high of 25 points in game 1. He had 15 rebounds in game 2, 14 rebounds in game 3. Game 4, he had 14 points and 12 rebounds. Game 5, in which the Suns went up 3-1, he had 11 points and 20 rebounds. Game 6, he had 10 points and 9 rebounds. And in game 7, which the one they lost, he had 8 points and 5 rebounds. Okay. So, game 7, his totals were way down, but Kevin Johnson had 2 big scoring games. I believe he had 43 in game 7, and I believe he had 46 in the earlier game against the Suns. Against the Rockets. So yeah. And many people don't know this, but his teammate Mark West, his teammate for a year, Mark West, was neck and neck with him in terms of games played, because Mark West was traded mid-season, 87-88, to the Phoenix Suns, and he played in 82 games that year. Well, actually played in 83. Okay, so 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. That kicked off 7 straight seasons of Mark West playing in all 82 games. 7 straight seasons of playing in 82 games. And by the end of 1994, him and AC Green were actually, AC Green was 1 in consecutive games played, and Mark West was 2. So you had 2 teammates, 1 and 2 in terms of consecutive games played. Unfortunately, that streak was broken in 1995 for Mark West when he was traded to Detroit. Unfortunately, that streak was broken, but for a while, AC Green and Mark West were 1 and 2 in consecutive games played. The Suns went into the decline after 1995. You may remember J.R. Reed, who I do not like. You may remember J.R. Reed intentionally elbowed him, knocking out some of his teeth, trying to end AC Green's streak. Charles Barkley said after the game, the NBA should do something about that. And they suspended J.R. Reed 2 games. And J.R. Reed tried to claim that it wasn't intentional. When you look at the replay, it was intentional. I've never liked J.R. Reed as a player. I've never liked him in Charlotte. Never liked him in San Antonio. Never liked him with the Lakers. Never liked J.R. Reed ever. Nonetheless, AC Green's streak continued on in spite of that. And he actually played in 83 games himself when he was traded a few games into the 96-97 season to the Mavericks. So he played in 83 games himself. And it was in the late 90s where he played on some pretty miserable Maverick teams. I know he was there in 1999 when Dirk was a rookie. So he was there when Dirk was there. He was there when Steve Nash and Michael Finley were there. Then he got traded to the Lakers for the 2000 season, won the championship, and his final season was 2001 with the Miami Heat. Okay. So, oh yeah. All right. That's it and that's all for Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am out of here. Peace out. May God bless you all.